Hello, dear teachers. Today's topic is very important because it is related to our daily life in this domain. We all have had some troublemakers. We all have had some students who consume more energy than others during the session. Well, the question is, how do we find some teachers who are better in dealing with those students than others? Why and what is the key that they are using? How can they control their session if it was controlling anyway? So the answer is classroom management. And classroom management is the group of actions, activities, and human relations that create an effective social and educational environment in the classroom. It is what we use as teacher to improve the wanted behavior from students. And it is the way that students would be better in interacting with our session. So it is, by the way, I want to concentrate on something. It is not, and I cannot say that enough, it is not the way to enforce authority on the students. It is not the peacefulness or the steadiness, the calmness that we seek in order to lecture, because this means that we are lecturing and the students are listening, but it doesn't mean that they understand, or that doesn't mean that they concentrate. The session is not effective for them. Well, scientifically speaking, classroom management has three dimensions: the administrative dimension, the educational dimension, and the social dimension. The administrative dimension is the organization of the classroom. It is about the distribution of the students, the classroom routines, the classroom rules, and I'm going to share my experience, my little experience in that. I hope you to share your experience with us about classroom management. Well, in administrative dimension, every student must know that he has a place in this session, in this section, and he must know where to sit. This will make it easier for you to move among students and for them to organize their minds. To have an organized session means to have an organized mind. The classroom routines. Every teacher and each one of us has the freedom to choose his own routine. Everyone must build a routine with their students. For example, I know teachers who ask students to clap once and clap twice. In that, students, for example, usually students will be writing or drawing or sharing together, coming up with a form. They will put their pens down and they will concentrate with the teacher. Or they will understand that now this phase is over, we must move to another phase. Some teachers used to turn the lights off and count to three, in which students will be, if they were moving around the class, they will know, okay, it's time to go back to my place. This is what we call a routine. Some teachers, for example, whistle, and the students will understand, now, after I heard this whistle, it is time to move to another step in the activity. Because activities are free. Sometimes they are chaotic, and students must feel free to apply those activities. But also, my routine with them will help in managing the activity, in managing their chaoticness. So they will be able to move freely, but under the circumstances, they will know how to go back to my session, to go back to the way they have to be, or to move to another step, for example, presentation. So, in order to manage every activity, every strategy, I must have a routine in my classroom. Another thing is the classroom rules. Every year, in the first day, the first school day, we see teachers, who force rules on the students. I think it is good to have rules, classroom rules, but actually I found it much more effective if the students came up with their rules on their own. So I usually write one word on the board, which is respect, and I divide the board to three parts. The first part is respect to yourself, respect to the teacher, respect to other students. And I ask them, come up with the rules that under the umbrella of respect toward yourself, what do you expect people to do in order to respect you? What do you expect the teacher to do in order to respect you? He respects yourself, your presence, your marks, your answers, your questions, whatever you say. On the other hand, you also must respect the teacher, his presence, his words, his routine, also, etc., etc. So whenever the students will think and come up with the rules, they will abide by them much more effectively because they understood them. They were not forced on them. The second dimension is the educational dimension, and it is purely the teacher's role, because it is about the preparation, how to prepare. It's about what strategy to use. It is about what aids and what materials to use. In this case, teachers must use something that is more related to the students. For example, if they are teenagers, boys, you must go much with video games examples. This will be very effective. I once taught a student with only talking about Call of Duty, which is a video game. He became very passionate whenever I talk about that, so I used it in teaching him how to write essays. It is very, very good, by the way. I just used the appropriate example, and he was free to talk about whatever he wanted. The third dimension is the social dimension, and I love to call it as the human relations dimension, because it's about the behavior management, how to manage the behavior. You cannot control, but at the same time, you cannot be 100% free. The conflict managing, because students will have conflicts and you must be fair, but at the same time you must not stop them from having the ability to conflict. Students will argue, students will refute each other's answers. This is very effective and very positive in your session. Let them have this kind of arguments and encourage them to have arguments. Divide them to teams. Let them practice that arguments and let them challenge each other. This will improve their abilities. And motivating. Motivating is very important to every person, not just for students. You, as an adult, need to be motivated. Maybe with a praise to hang on the wall. This will make you a better teacher. This will make you a better employee. What if we are talking about that with the students? This will make them better students. Well, what I want to talk about next is meaning-making process. Some teachers say that, well, we do that. We choose the appropriate example. We try to motivate students, and still, after a period of time, our students lose interest and became troublemakers. Well, this because studies say that students cannot, and this is impossible for them, this is scientifically speaking, students cannot build full meaning and concentrate with the teacher at the same time. They cannot do the same, both. At the same time. They need a break. Their brains need a break. Well, how can I have a break during the session? Some teachers prefer to stretch. Okay, now stretch, now stand up, now sit down. Now you have 2 minutes of free talking to each other. This is good. Some teachers use other technique, which is to divide their session to strategies or to activities. And the process of moving from one activity to another is enough a break for the students to relax their brains, for them to recapture the energy they need to go on. Studies say, and this is very important, that according to the student's age, their concentration will be, the duration of their concentration will be. For example, if we are teaching KG students to grade 2, they will have from 5 to 8 minutes of concentration. After that, they need a break. Grade 3 to grade 5, they will have 8 to 12 minutes of concentration. After that, they need a break. Grade 6 to grade 8, they will have 12 to 15 period of time of full concentration. Grade 9 to grade 12, they will have 15 to 18 minutes of full concentration. After that, they will need a break. Adults, if you are teaching on high education levels, adults also need a break after 20 minutes of concentration. So use breaks during your session. This is what I want to share with you today. Please share with us. Be aware to share your experience about classroom management. Thank you so much and see you soon.